Dr. Leyland. Step into the future, the world is waiting now. Dreams are in the making, we'll show you how. From the books to the screen, from the stage to the stars. Level up your game, let's raise the bar. Innovation, inspiration, it's in our DNA. Breaking through the limits, we're paving the way. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Empowered in your passion, your voice will be heard. Building a legacy with every word. From podcasts to pages, from business to art. Level Up's the place where it all can start. With heart and with vision, we're chasing every goal. Together we'll ignite the fire in your soul. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, we're trailblazing, breaking through the mold. Dreams are alive, let your story unfold. With courage and pride, we'll take the fight. At Level Up, we own the night. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. So let's level up and never look back. On the road to greatness, we're on the right track. Together we'll soar, together we'll fly. At Level Up Academy, we're alive.
Whoa! Hopefully you guys can hear me. Today I'm going to be with my ambassador. We're going to be talking about 50 inspirational connections, but mostly our topic today is really why inspiration is important in life. Now let's be real. Strategy, skills, smarts will get you far. Don't get me wrong. But without inspiration, you're just going through the motions. So today we're digging into the one thing that quietly fuels greatness, resilience, and legacy. And no, it's not your hustle, guys, okay? You're fine. You're doing a good hustle. But it's that fire in your belly, your why, what inspires you. Let's talk about how to find it, how to protect it, and how to become a source of it for others. Because life will hand you a checklist. You go to school, you get a job, you climb the ladder, get a family, a white picket fence, 2 dogs, 2 kids. But what happens when you check all those boxes and you still feel stuck in life that doesn't quite fit you? That's where inspiration steps in. And I really was thinking about this because we have HOB and Moving Beyond Boxes today. And we believe in more than just education here at Level Up. We believe in transformation. We're not here to produce perfectly polished people who live inside neat little boxes. We're here to light a fire under that bold and overlooked and underestimated part of you. We're here to help you go beyond the boxes society puts you in to build a life, business, and legacy that actually, quite honestly, feels like it's yours, not somebody else's agenda. Inspiration is starting line. It's what gets you dreaming again after life knocks the wind out of you. It's what dares you to unmute your voice, take that stage, and say, you know what? This is who I am. And this is the impact I'm here to make. Now, HOB, I have a different I have a different name for you today. You know how Hounds of Business Community, and because Susanna's here and I'm here, HOB is also House of Belonging. HOB, House of Belonging. We're not just building a space, we're creating a movement where inspired people inspire others. It's a reminder that you do belong. Your story matters. And when you lead with inspirational action and you're inspired, you become a light for others trying to find their way. So today isn't just about talking motivation, it's about reclaiming the fire. Let's unpack this with my brother and sister, and let's put Agape first here on stage.
A. Garcia here, founder and executive director of Confronting Domestic Violence. Confronting Domestic Violence is actually founded from my personal experience of surviving a double attempted homicide. I was 8 months pregnant, over 1,000 miles away from home, and had an 8-year-old daughter present at the time. What we do is we have a program that is 2 parts, and it's very well stated in our mission statement. We provide real-time resources to real-time victims, and we offer relocation services when a family has a safe place to go and not the means to get there. All too often, fear and finances are the reason victims stay in their abusive situation. About 20 years later, after surviving that double attempted homicide, I was in ICU. I was in a very bad car accident with a 1% chance of making it. And from there, after petitioning my creator why my life was being spared, is where Confronting Domestic Violence was born. I realized that I had endured and navigated through so many uncharted waters, not knowing where to find resources or where to find help or where to find what I needed at the time that it was needed. As circumstances change, so do needs. So from ICU, Confronting Domestic Violence was born. I decided to talk about post-traumatic growth, what that is, what the journey is to get there, and now to provide these resources to fill the gaps through, I don't know what else to say.
That never gets old, honestly. With her saying that, honestly, guys, I love it. And so we are going to bring in my brother and sister because today's conversation is really important. Why inspiration in life? Why is it important? So let's put in Sasana. I don't like this thing. What is happening? Mike was saying that too, like, oh, what is this? I don't know where Mike went, but we'll put him in here even though he's muted. Sister, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a nice sunny day, and life is freaking busy. It's still got its ups and downs, definitely, but at least with the right assistance, I'm getting through it.
Yeah, right. Like we are actually going through a lot of things in life together on a lot of things, right? So that's kind of an amazing thing. There's Mike. Okay, so I know Mike is back. Why inspiration is important in life. I actually have a conversation about my newsletter. So one of my students actually asked, like, Dr. Leland, I'm in military and I don't have a master's degree. I'm getting my bachelor's right now. How do we compete with people who have a master's degree from an international schools? And Susanna saw this firsthand, and I also saw this firsthand. We have people who are medical doctors, and I mean real medical doctors in the Philippines who worked in the hospital. They came to America and they literally are a janitor. Okay. And they just go back to their country because they're like, this is just too degrading for me. I literally went to medical school for this. I worked at the hospital for this. And then this is the America that I thought was different for opportunities. So they go back. And so it's really important for you if you're an international students or international people who are going to your school and you're like, oh, I'm getting a master's degree and I go to America and get a good job. Not necessarily, right? It has changed, to be honest. And that's the reason why I talk on my newsletter. And I want to talk to Mike also and Susanna on their experiences on that, because that's strategic alliance with the right place. And you have to think about it for yourself as well moving forward. And then we're going to switch to inspiration. Sister, what is your experience when you went to China with these educators and master's people?
Yeah, in China, that basically was the doctors had master's degrees. They didn't. It wasn't like they were going to, the way I saw it and the way I learned it. They weren't going through necessarily the same kind of a program as here. There's so many people in China. It's almost like they just run them through. My PCP over there, when I had to see somebody, he only had a master's degree. And it's like he knew stuff, but I never really had a full confidence in him. And there was, this was in the Guangzhou area, and when I went more towards the middle of the country, in Kaifeng, which is still a huge city, the hospital, what I saw with that particular hospital is it's almost like they advertised which doctors they had that had an international background, because I would see these pictures of doctors. I couldn't read anything except for like University of Minnesota or University of whatever. It's like, so I knew they went to a university and had some sort of training in the States as opposed to what they were getting in China, because there wasn't that much.
Yeah. And Mike, have you traveled outside of the US and saw the difference, or maybe even the people that you talk to a lot? Because, you have a lot of business owners internationally, really, in House of Belonging.
I mean, here lately, I haven't went to the gas station. So talking about international travel, woo, boy, I'm going to have to research. But no, I do. It's an honor and a blessing to be able to talk to so many different people from, all walks of life, all across the globe. It's fascinating. I should have been an anthropologist or something, but I love sociology. And what was the other question? There was a point to that, right?
We have ADHD. Yeah. I love it. No, it's just,
our
when
world.
you talk, right? Listen, when you talk to people a lot, like a lot of the people that you talk to, I think are business owners, either in transition that they want to do something else different because they found their passion. And then the second thing is how to be getting out of all the noise, because it seems like everybody that you meet is an expert of something, but you all are trying to be credible authority sources, and deep inside that they are, but they're not being heard or seen with their value. So how is that different than, education? I see both. And I think it's just definitely the authority and helping them see their value beyond what they think they have. That's how I'm seeing. What are your thoughts on that, on your clients?
Oh, that's excellent. No, so it kind of goes back to the foundation of kind of what's prevalent today. Like, how are people thinking, right? There's political conditions that affect supply chain, the way we do business, right? All these things have been really accelerated, in my opinion, in my viewpoint, really since COVID, right? Like, I've never in a million years thought that I would see 80-year-old ladies just Zooming all day. I mean, it's really remarkable. But I think it comes down to one thing, common theme that I can see across people, leaders, up-and-comers, established folks. They all have one thing in common, whether they know it or not. And I would love to get the folks in the comments opinion here. Relationship capital is the most valuable currency on planet Earth. Now, in my opinion, more so than ever, because skills not enough. Like you said, there's billion people on LinkedIn, right? Everybody's got skills. And I'll give you a prime example, and I'd love to know what you and the audience think. So I have a gazillion people with AI services coming at me, right? And a lot of us do. And so I'm sitting there going, how do I field this? I love how y'all act like I know what you're talking about. Like, hey, this AI does this. And I'm going, I don't know what you're saying. Like, is this another language? What is this? So what I had to do was filter. And how do I filter? Hey, values, alignment, right? And who you came from. So for example, I've got 2 or 3 people because I don't know what they do, but they came from people, personal relationship, professional relationship with these same people. And they're innovators. And so I've seen concierge doctors / investor connectors / AI people. And so it's remarkable to see how people are really becoming essentially what I would say is serial entrepreneurs. Because I've never thought in my life that I would go to my doctor, right? He would do his job for my physical and then say, hey, would you like me to change your oil after this? Like, wow, like but that's what's happening. It's like, hey, I'm a doctor, but I also do AI and I do Windows, and it's really remarkable. So, the passion and the circumstance is really catching on. It's like, wow. And then the last question, how do you stand out? It sounds cliche, but you stand out by doing two things, in my opinion. This is what I teach. This is what the Hounds operates. You all do it by, circumstance, by just natural ability, generating curiosity and value. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm trying to see if we're birds of a feather. Listen, if peacocks throw a feather up, they're not trying to attract dogs or mosquito. They're trying to attract other peacocks. And so that's what I see happening. This is what we embody and foster. In other words, get clear, right? Be free. That's important. Be free to break the mold, and then go out there and show your peacock feathers, man. And other birds of a feather will flock together. So I love the innovation. I think we're getting away from our local mindset and we're evolving so we can relate to people at the character, heart level, versus all these exterior things that kept us separate and divided before the internet and before social media. Does that make sense? I see a unity coming that's based on heart attitude, then business, then other things. And it's really a privilege to live in this time and also usher in that, because I want to see more of that.
I love it. And you're right about how do you, because, it's navigating waters with a bunch of sharks. That's how I feel it. Right. And you're on this little tiny ass boat so that you don't get bit. And it's all bloody out there. Sean, I agree. I actually have lost in the American medical establishment along with the education system who gave it the primo value. That's true. And I think the reason that we have that value is because we do have, smart people. We do have the technology. It's the system is broken. Education is also broken. I see it. I'm an educator and I'm going through that. And I think what people don't understand, I don't care what industry you're in, when you make changes, you need to face it out. And you need a better trainer. You need a good trainer to look at all the learning styles that you have. And sometimes when you're a trainer, okay, and even an educator, you're so comfortable with what you're doing that you don't want to get out of your own comfort zone. But the problem is you're not affecting just yourself or the students that's in front of you. You're affecting everybody else that they also deal with, because you're limited to your capacity, right? And I think ego and pride gets in the way, like, I'm a doctor, so I know everything. No, you don't, right? And you need to continuously improve yourself every single day. And I think if we have that mentality, we would be better off. Now, I actually wanted to kind of segue on the inspiration, right? But also talk about industrial revolution. So I was like talking to Susanna this morning about industrial revolution. 1700s and 1800s really where it originated in Britain, right? They focused on the mechanics, the textile manufacturing, the steam engines, the factory systems. That's 1780s to like 1830s. The second wave of industrial revolution is technological revolution, which is from like 1870 to 1914, took off in the US, in Germany, in Japan, right? This is before World War I. Electricity, steel production, railroads, telegraph, telephone, mass production. This is like the 1900s. And then this, there's the third wave, if you will, which is the digital revolution, right? 1960s to early 2000s, we saw computers, major computers, semiconductors, the internet, the automation and robotics. It started then. Information technology, they exploded. And then that's when the teachers actually at that time were like looked at as, wow, they're a teacher, an educator, right? That was the thing. And then it went to now a little bit of computers, and then we did into the medical. The fourth era really is right now, 2010 and present. We're talking AI, the Internet of Things, the blockchain and cryptocurrency, the augmented reality, AR, virtual reality, biotech, the autonomous vehicle. There's so many, right? The advanced robotics, the cloud and edge computing. This is an era of speed, scale, and interconnectivity. We can actually talk to anybody and have a meeting from Dubai, from anywhere, from the seat, right? It's so crazy. So now you're wondering, okay, there's a fifth industrial revolution's coming out. This is human and machine collaboration. CJ, you're talking crap. It is. If you're really looking at it, that is. So how do we make sure, because medical is something we need. We get sick. just like anybody else. And learning is education. I don't care if you get it at the degree or micro or whatever, you're still learning. So how do we fix the system instead of talk to the problem? You need to be inspired. How are you going to get inspired? That is the topic for today. So, Mike and sister, I have a question for you. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm actually going to pay attention to this question and behave myself. So,
Okay.
rare moment, folks. Go.
Let's start with the fire, not talk fire. What inspires you on a soul level right now? And how has that changed over the years? I'm talking soul level. Mike.
Yeah, no, I can handle this. Yeah, listen, and this goes with what we had talked about earlier just now. A lot of us are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We've waited long enough for someone else to do it. Our traditional systems, our political structure, et cetera, et cetera. And is it getting better? No. And that's just the way of things. However, what is getting better is folks like us are getting up and saying, you know what? Maybe I should get off this hamster wheel. You know what? Maybe I am the person that can help usher in whatever it is driving me nuts. If I'm sick of homelessness, maybe I need to do something about it. If I'm sick of inequality and injustice, maybe I could take the lead in the positive, right? So, and this is what motivates me, because I fell through the cracks. See, I didn't want another course. I didn't want to be sold. I didn't want to be strung along. I did not want people to tell me this was the only way to market. This was the only way to build a business, that you had to go out and have 40 coffee chats to sell some poor sap something they don't want anyway, that I had to go out there and build from this perspective. And so, you know, that people fall through the cracks. Personally, for me and the Hounds, I'm tired of seeing people, you know, go out there, take the courage to be somebody, do something special. And what happens? They lose money, but they lose heart, right? It's just broken. So instead of complaining, instead of running around and complaining and, you know, trauma bonding or whatever you want to call it, I just started taking action. And and grudgingly so. But, you know, to me, that's what it is. I don't want to see people falling through the cracks. And I didn't want to be a student of anyone else. All these famous people, all these gurus in the industry, good for them. But you know what? In the HOB, we want to be them, because without the status, without being able to elevate and build, how are we supposed to impact the world? You have to. But the uniqueness is I'm not piggybacking off no one. We're building what we need, right? And then serving it to others who might need it. That's not that. To me, that's remarkable, because when you build that way, everybody remains free. Everybody remains independent, right? So like Lua, right? We work together, but nobody owns the major share here. If you ever want to pack your suitcase, you're good to go. And that's very unique, because we don't want to, you know, and like Phil the Connector, right? All these great people that we work with, we're just doing, and we're not trying to be like facetious or anything. We're tired of it. Look, I got a limited number of years. Who knows how long that might be, maybe days. So I have a sense of urgency to go out there and make an impact, to truly, you know, try to do my little part to make it happen. So I don't want to fall through the cracks. I had advantage. So I want to go out there and create ecosystem and you know, framework to go help other people. And oftentimes it's the other way around. It's like, well, what's going to be the most marketable thing? Let's go package and sell it and then do it, right? Let's go sell something, then put you in a community. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying the difference is backwards. For us, it's the opposite. How about we do things and form community and then make services that we need, right? Does that make sense, or I just go way up in left field with that?
No, it makes sense. Sean, I really love your engagement today. I want to address a couple of things. Yes, updated 100 years, actually in most schools, most institutions, but our schools, actually, I create a curriculum for some schools, and I actually integrate AI into it, but I also make sure that I teach them what the weaknesses are of AI, right? Because everyone always think that, oh, AI is everything. And most people think that ChatGPT is one all be all. No, it's like Google, right? There's so many search engines, but Google takes 96% of the share of the whole entire search engine. So yeah, it's ChatGPT is kind of going through that. They're now the search engine of everything and to dump all the information. But in all reality, there's so many AI out there. It's actually overwhelming. It's overwhelming. And so what I want to teach is the foundation and the core of using AI for my students, which is with integrity. Don't copy and paste and think that that 100% AI is you, because now you're not using your brain and it's like a muscle. If you don't use your muscle, like think about it when you're in the hospital, or if you don't get hospitalized. I've seen people get hospitalized, even 7 days. You get, you lose your muscles in your legs. You can't walk anymore. It's weak. It's the same thing for your brain, right? If I ask you a question, wait, hold on, let me ask ChatGPT. Right? You got to make sure that you have that critical thinking skill still present. So, yes, some schools are over 100 years outdated, but I've been in the last 14 years, most schools that I've worked for, they're actually pretty updated in terms of their curriculum. And we do soft skills, and we have people from the real world who owns business that are part of our curriculum development to ensure. And also we have teachers who are actually owning businesses to teach classes, and they have the degree to teach classes and the experience in the real world to teach classes, to connect that gap, right? And that's why I created Level Up, because I think it needed to be leveled up more. So I appreciate that. Now, Susanna, same question, sister. In terms of that fire in your belly, like what inspires you on a soul level right now, and how has that changed over the years?
Right now, one of the most important things is to be your authentic self, to being authentic, knowing who you are and what you're here for, what you were placed for. I know this one so well because I talk boxes because I lived in those boxes for most of my life. For over a half century, it was listening to other people and doing and being whatever it is that they said I was supposed to do and be, and all that. And when you're doing that and you're trying to fit in, that means you're hiding aspects of yourself that, for good or bad, in terms of how other people might view those aspects, they're a part of you, and sometimes they are more of a superpower. But you don't get to do that when you're hiding it. You don't get to, like with ADHD, you don't get to understand it, and you don't get to figure out how to work with it if it's got a stigma to it that's negative. And so you want to avoid it. You don't want people to know about it. Yet when you can embrace it and understand it, it becomes that superpower. You figure out how to work with it and use it to your best abilities. And suddenly you can see you can do things that you couldn't before when you were trying to hide it. That's why I talk so much for especially women and veterans to move beyond these boxes, move beyond a place that they feel stuck. They feel like they're trying to do what everybody else is telling them to do, and they're missing out on being who they were created to be. We all have a purpose here, but when you're trying to fit in, you can never do your purpose. When you stop fitting in, when you move beyond the boundaries, you move beyond the boxes that others try to put you in, knowing that each of us can be put into multiple boxes. It's just people will take a sliver of you and say that's what you are, and that's not even true. So that's why I don't like the boxes. I move beyond the boxes to be your authentic self. And once you're doing that, things start to open up. And you've seen it with me over the last couple of years. So the more you can be your authentic self, the more you start seeing opportunities, the more you can connect with people, and the more chance you have of finding belonging. And belonging is so important.
It is. I have a thought right now. In Hounds of Business Community, HOB, we actually make sure that we become the house of belonging, because we all want to level up. See that? HOB, house of belonging, and level up. Literally, that's why we connect, right? I also want to address I think Sean was saying something about like the US is 35. Actually, I look at that because I was talking to my students last week, actually, when I was asked about, doing the newsletter in terms of like, okay, where does the US, fall into when it comes to IQ? Like, here's the thing. Singapore actually is number one when it comes to IQ. Okay. They have top tier education. They have innovation hub everywhere. They're known for STEM dominance. I see this one hand, not just by research. My husband used to work for the feds and stuff as their his client, and he asked engineers here in the US to do something for the feds, and they would take 2 3 months. He asked someone specifically in Taiwan, right, in Singapore area, to do something. 48 hours, it was done. He's still waiting for the other parts in America, right? It's like, what? So I saw that firsthand. The second in terms of IQ is actually Japan. They have precision, technological innovation, and education rigor. That's in Japan. I don't know if you guys know, but in high school in Japan, I have families there. We have businesses there. They get tested in high school, and it depends on your test scores. Either the government pays for your education moving forward, or you just work whatever random jobs. And that's how Japan actually looks at it, right? They are investing in their people. In the US, it's like, yeah, we invest in you to be a cog in the machine. And oh, we're going to give you money for education. And oh, it's going to be debt for life. And oh, we have interest on top of that. So you could never get out of the cog. That's America for you, capitalism, right? Now in South Korea is number 3, and then Taiwan is number 4. China actually is number 5, Switzerland 6, Germany 7, Netherlands is 8, Finland is 9, and Canada is 10. US is not even in the top 10, okay? It's not surprising to me because when I research women and pay, United States is even below Philippines, which is crazy because that's an emerging country in business. United States is actually number 12 and UK is actually number 11. Australia is 13, Israel is 14, and Poland is number 15. That's the 15th highest IQ in the world, and based on Lynn and Baker data sets. That's where I got the information from. And also World Population Review. Those are the places that I go, and the Global Innovation Index, where I see the rankings, right? So BU is great, but let's talk about, how do we be us that looks like us, do the same thing as us, and still be out there and still be seen and heard? How do you say that inspiration? How do you stay inspired when you're every day that you're looking at it, it feels like you're just swimming in the ocean and now your boat has a hole and you're trying to plug that bolt so you don't, you stay floating. So I have a framework called Inspire, turning inspiration into action. And I'm going to ask Mike and Susanna in a minute, but I is for identify the disconnect. What is your disconnect? Forget about other people. What is your disconnect, right? Name your audience. What are you trying to do? Who you're trying to actually say that? And then inspiration is not something that we're like, oh my God, I need to be inspired. Like it had to be on Instagram. No, normalize the need for inspiration because we all need it. I don't care how much money you have, you need inspiration. And share a story, right? Personal, client, whatever. And then P is present the power of inspiration. I got inspired today to do this. I got inspired today to walk, whatever, right? And integrate it into your daily life. And then remind them that the source of inspiration is not necessarily external, it's more internal. I'm inspired to do better today for myself, right? I think often we look at outside external sources, external output to be inspired when you need to be inspired with yourself so that it's sustainable, right? Because if you want to be inspired to get a better car, you need to get a better job. If you get a better job and you're having all these people here, it's really hard. It's easy said than done. So how do you do that? The last part of inspire spelling is E, engage with a challenge or a question. Ask yourself, how do I do this? Make a strategy, create a plan of how you get there. And sometimes we do need coaches. We do need people to help us kind of, get things through. So my next question. There's a difference between motivation and inspiration. One fades, the other fuels. So Mike, how do you keep your inspiration alive, especially during tough seasons?
Wow. Okay. That was good. So I think it's twofold. There's what makes sense, and then there's what actually happens for most of us, right? And so, because you read these books, you see these people, and keep this framework in mind. It's the overnight success that took 40 years kind of mentality. So first of all, I go and look at people that I admire, whether it's real people, whether it's movies, right? All these things. I have my own personal heroes, and they change. So when I go to YouTube shorts, instead of watching just kiddie memes all day, right, or things like this, I'll go and watch old Jim Rohn, what he said back then, right? I'll watch Muhammad Ali. I'll watch everything, Chuck Norris, right? Anybody out there who really, kind of has that piece that I want to develop in my own voice, right? So you can find it everywhere. You just have to skip past the nonsense and be intentional, right? And then internal, that's the internal talk, right? What am I listening to? Garbage in, garbage out, right? Good things in, good things out. But then the power community really amplifies. And so like yesterday, right? I had a bunch of wins, was batting 999, not 1,000, but close. And then boom, gut punch, right? And I came into that networking, and you were leading that. And what did I hear? Hey, this happened. These people connected in HOB. This thing, that thing, Mike helped me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm willing to go out there and take the hits. I don't take many, but, so anyway, it's out there, folks. Here's what I'm saying. It's like a radio station. The radio station is always playing on 101.1. You're the one that has to dial into it. You're the one that has to change, and don't be scared. It's going to fade in and out. It's never set. It's not static. It's dynamic. So in my experience, it's like, hey, I'm dialed in, and then you're not. It's like a grandfather clock. The pendulum swings. So when you realize the truth, hey, this is the way of things, right? You're going to grow, and then you're going to have to grow again. You're going to get all you desired. You're going to hit that goal. You're going to hit that mark. And then guess what? Even more challenges are going to knock you on your butt. And when you understand the way of things and accept them. So for example, in the business world, tsunamis are going to happen. But instead of wishing it away, drowning and freaking out all the time, I just learned how to surf on it, right? Build the skill, build the resilience. But to me, it's always comes back to when I lose some heart, maybe even feel defeated at rare times. I'll get a message. Hey, Mike, thanks for that. Changed my life. And I'm like, I didn't even do much, but you never know. Right. And so I push up others, and they push me up without even knowing it. And I think that's what's remarkable about it. And again, it goes back to your original question. Why? Right. First of all, let's redefine success. Let's redefine who us is and means. Let's just go back to the drawing board and like childlike curiosity. And that's what you're seeing here. You're not seeing agendas. You're not seeing, all of this stuff. You're seeing realness, real time realness. And we did that before we did a marketing strategy, right? So I just want people to be inspired. If you have a burning desire, hey, somebody says, write the book, and you go, nah, but it drives you nuts. It wakes you up at night. People keep telling you that. Stop. You're torturing yourself. Lean into it. Yes, the cost is going to be great, but when you can dial in the picture clearly of what you could accomplish, and you keep working on that, the price is easy to pay. It's easier to pay because the reward is worth it. It's an investment, right? In yourself, in the world. And that's how I look at it. I didn't look at it that way. That came from a lot of pain and inner turmoil and really being serious and burying my head out of the sand and going, ooh. But, once you say ooh, right? And we see this is not weirdness. We see this in fitness, right? People who have been overweight for decades, now they're ripped. What happened? So ask yourself, if I'm not seeing inspiration, maybe I'm not looking for it. And that's just God's honest truth.
Intentions is everything. Yeah, intentions is everything. I'm glad that you actually talk about that, because I'm going to ask Susanna the same question. But you talk about book. Speaking of book, this is my new project with Susanna, obviously. And that in between, you're talking specifically right now, like people got, were having overweight, and then all of a sudden they got ripped, right? But no one really sees the dirty side of how they got there. And that's what we want to talk about in this book, right? The voice for unspoken. This anthology literally is all about those quiet moments that nobody actually talks about, the in-between moments of your life, the real story, the real power, right? This is all, it doesn't matter if you're going to do a memoir or an essay or anything, right? The book is a heart-led journey through grief, growth, and reinvention and resilience. And you're asking me, CJ, why? Why not? Because we're here to inspire others, but you need to be inspired by your own story. You need to be inspired by your own toughness. You need to be grateful for all of your experiences, right? So this is going to be, Susanna and I are probably going to do it all the way till the end of August. We're going to open it up to the end of August, and we'll go from there, because we want to make sure that the people who are in it actually wants to be inspired by others, but most importantly, they are already inspired by their own story, right? And they're willing now to step up and say, you know what, let me share my story, my hardship, my moment of despair, right? My desperation, my depression, right? My anxiety, my panic attacks. Let's talk about that and how we get there, because people only see the end result. You got all of these things, but how did you get all of these things? No one wants to talk about it because somehow it's a secret. Like, hello, we're all going through it just differently. But why not talk about it? Why not normalize that life is messy? Life is a struggle, right? But it's a beautiful thing. It doesn't have to be negative. It's all about your mind and how you look at life. And yes, it's scary. Yes, it's so like, what's going to happen next? I'm going through a lot right now, changes. I'm scared, but at the same time, I'm excited, right? Because I'm inspired by my own actions, and I hope that other people get inspired too. But often we focus on the negative, like, because this person did this and this is why I am. No, you decided. You had a choice. You did that. Don't, other people can make you feel a certain way, but ultimately it's your actions that got there. It's your actions that led there, right? So you have to take part of your own destiny, not be the passenger of your life, but you need to be the driver of your life. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what. So this book is called In the Space Between, the stories we don't say out loud. Not laughing out loud, okay? The stories that you don't. So sister, same question. There's a difference between motivation and inspiration. One fades, the other fuels. How do you keep inspiration alive, especially during tough seasons? And you're in that tough season right now.
Oh, definitely in the tough season. It's been and it's been going for a while. So it can be really hard to keep the inspiration going, because the inspiration is really what we can feed off of in a positive way. It's inspiration is that which truly drives us, as opposed to motivation. Motivation has a number of different aspects to it. I mean, some of it you could be motivated to make that inspiration happen, but oftentimes the motivation comes down to just getting by, just getting from today to tomorrow, or even just getting through today. That can be motivation day by day, and it's really just getting you by. But the inspiration, what I look at with inspiration, is that is where the real drive is. That is where those things that I feel placed on my heart, those are the ones that I want to make happen. And it can be hard when you have to focus on getting through the day, yet you want to do what you're inspired to do. And trying to work that time is just crazy. It's difficult to find the time to do both. So for me, it's part of what's helped is just getting through, learning more about myself in many ways, and knowing when to ask for the right help, because that's made a difference right now. So I am seeing the difference with what's happened over the past couple of weeks, as I've added something else to the mix. That's making a difference. And when you can stay on a more positive level, there's a better chance to be able to put time into the inspiration to make it start to fly, make it start to flourish. Because really what you want is inspiration. Whatever's inspiring you, you want that to be what takes off, and that's what gets you through life. Doing what you want, making things happen with the way you want, instead of falling back on a motivation of just getting through the day.
Listen, I behaved for 45 minutes. I can't handle it. Look, so what you just said there and what Jody said in the comments, it's real simple, folks. Don't overcomplicate it. Motivation. When I put on my music and I'm ready to go, right? It motivates me. But what happens when the Bluetooth speakers die, right? Like what happens when there's silence and you're no longer motivated to go out there and work out and do X? That's the inspiration, because you have to go, it's like, why am I doing this? Because discipline isn't a motivating thing, in my opinion. I don't want to do the things that I have to do. So what's going to move me to do the stuff I don't want to do? As people, a lot of folks like me are geared for comfort, right? But comfort is not equal greatness. Not impact and legacy is not built from comfort, right? So that's what I mean. I love what you just said. And in redneck speak, that's what I got. Like, hey, yeah, the music can get me there, but when the earbuds die, what keeps me going? That's internal. And you have to go look for whatever it is inside, outside to keep going. But when I see people not struggling like me who say, hey, because you went through that pain, I don't have to go through years of that pain. Well, bring it on. Okay, so what else do I have to go through in order to get this done? And it's not an ego. It's just, hey, that whole starfish story, CJ, right? The guy's throwing the starfish back and there's scores of them out there. And the guy's like, why are you doing that? You can't save them all. It doesn't matter. He says it matters to this one. And that was the corniest thing I heard forever, but I get it because that's what I do every day. Look, I can't maybe save all of them, but I can help one who's willing to go. Like, because I've been there. I don't want to see them drive, off the cliff. I did that. I failed more times than you tried. That's why people would hire me, and that's why they go to the hounds, right, CJ? That's why they come to you. They don't have the affordability. It's not even accessible. They come to you, and you open up a buffet that was not even feasible. They didn't have access to this. They didn't have, I didn't have the ability to write in a book and be in academia. That was you, right? But I had to get off my butt and go out there and just figure it out and go through the crud we have to go through. So again, I love these discussions because people pick up a book and go, oh, that's how it's done. No,
that's not how it's done. Yeah. And also, like, for example, a lot of people are doing publishing, self-publishing nowadays, right? How do you, I was asked by my student actually 2 semesters ago, how do you differentiate yourself as a publisher since you're a small publisher and self-publishing than other publishers out there? And I said, I differentiate myself that I'm a hybrid, meaning I do self-publishing, but I can also publish you in major distribution channels, not just in the United States, but also internationally. Then we can also cross over to academic publishing. Then I also use my platform on top of that. Then I can put you on podcasts and radio. Then I can put you on TV. They're like, stop. I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, exactly. That's why I don't tell people exactly what I do until you're there, because I gatekeep certain things because it's overwhelming for people. How can one person do it? And I said, because I collaborate with the right people. My strategy is to be me, but also collaborate. You have to, people like, I don't gatekeep things. I do, because I realize that some people are not ready for me. Right? And when they're not ready for you, sometimes you're too much for people. No. I'm not too much for people. You're just not ready for me. Let's change that script. Let's change the mindset. So when you really want to work with someone and you feel like, okay, this someone, I really love it. They're really good personality, blah, 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 and they don't have the money. No, they have the money. They don't want to spend it on you because they don't see the value in you, or they're not ready for you. But you don't need to overcomplicate your thoughts on like, oh, it must be me. No, it's not you. They're not ready for you. And it's okay. It's not an insult. It's not that we're above everybody. It's just that the alignment has to be perfect. Think about a puzzle, guys. When you finish a puzzle, it's so beautiful. You see clearly. But if you miss that one little tiny thing puzzle, you're like, what happened to this one? Why is this empty? It's the same thing when you're doing business or relationship or anything. If there's that one missing piece, it's not a beautiful, complete thing. So it's not you. I'm not too much for everybody. I used to live in my head like that, like I am too much for everybody. I need to be quiet. I needed to mute myself down. Maybe I had to change my eyeshadow color or not wear wigs or, mute my hair color because whatever. No, F that. I'm not too much for everybody. You are not ready for me. It's okay. It's not an insult. It's just, it is what it is. And when you're ready for me, you'll see a beautiful collaboration. Believe me, I'm a giver, and all of the people here are a giver. But sometimes we might not be in the same alignment, and that's okay. So, how do you feel? How do you help others move from inspiration to implementation, especially those who feel stuck, small, or unsure? The first step really is not, it's not about how I can help, because I know I can. I might not be able to help you at 100% on everything. I know I can, right? That's not the question really. Is the question is, are you ready to be helped? That is the question. Most people ask questions like, are you ready to be? No, ask yourself, are you ready? And then second thing is all about clarity. Second thing is, if you really ask yourself, what do you need help on? Ask yourself that. What do you need help on? Give me your top 3. Narrow it down to top 3. What do you need help on? And you're probably going to think, I don't really know. Exactly. That means you're not ready to be helped. So stop wasting your money. Oh, I need marketing. What does that mean? You have the marketing team. People right now on LinkedIn DMing me so many things. I can give you 25 clients. Do you even know who I am? Do you even know what I do? You don't. You're just DMing me, right? So it's not that. So now my question to Mike is, especially those who feel stuck and small and unsure, we know what you do, but the rest of the people who might be watching and replay, what do you do to help
Yeah,
others?
well, first of all, I put them in the hounds. I mean, it's just, networking has become a waste of time because it's like water running all over the floor in many cases. And what we do is take the water, put it in a container, right? We put it in a place in the ecosystem. That's not just us, right? We got Lua, we have was power partnership, right? Strategic alliance. It's like Dr. X. That's how I view myself, right? Look, there's X-Men, there's great people running around blowing stuff up with their superpowers, not even sure what they're doing. And then we put them together and the synergy can get 100-fold from that. So first of all, I put them in the hounds, right? And see, hey, if you see value, great, right? Now you might be able to spend your time and money wisely. If you don't see value, you're welcome, because I'm not wasting your time and money. I'm not sitting here convincing you need to pay us and do us and all that stuff. And that's what bothers me. So when people open up, they want to open up, but listen, they've been burned. So when they see me and they see other people, they look at that and go, well, he's just better at convincing. They do not really get it because they've been burned. So when we put them in the ecosystem, right, proof's in the pudding, as we say, then they go, you know what? I'm starting to trust. I'm starting to open. And we saw that the other day in the hounds and on our platform. Somebody opened up in the most vulnerable way. I met with them. And what did we do? We acted like a doctor. We're not selling medicine. We are trying to help you. And so I put them in the container and just helped them independently. And what did they do? Made a post about it, right? All this thing. And that's what I mean. So the first way to implementation is to go out there and show, not just talk. And by the way, not to get rambly, but here's the best way to do it. Act first. Then when they're ready and come to you, then you can talk about it. Everybody wants to talk about it, and then they provide it, right? The action. They talk and then action. I like action and then talk. I like to do stuff when the right people ask, point at it, right? Explain it when they ask. It's again, listen, last thing. If most of us went out there and did the stuff we do in marketing in our relationships, we'd all be single. Okay. We'd all have no friends. So stop it. Be people first, and then watch how your business will amplify, right? Treat people well. Yeah, we want to be discerning. Yeah, all that stuff. But dadgummit, just knock it off. The world, they can smell BS a mile away. So give them, the people you want to work with, a reason to say yes to you when they said no to everyone else. And that's done by action. And that's being an oak tree in a sea of tumbleweeds. I'm not switching gears, right? I've passed up big money for values, and I don't have to talk about it. People know that, right? And so that's what they're hungry for. Trust plus skill. And do not minimize trust. It's as important, if not the importance today.
I love it. And by the way, what's wrong with being single, huh? Nothing's wrong with being single.
Nothing's wrong with it unless you're doing it stupid thing.
No, sometimes it's a choice. I'm just saying it's a choice. Because we've seen through so much crap, we're like, nah, men grow up to be just little boys. Bye. Like, seriously.
I'm a professional toddler. I own it now. I love it.
For me, I have always said success equals clarity, courage, consistency, plus radical accountability minus your ego or your pride, right? Because it's just not worth it. Sister, the same thing. The same thing for you.
Which is
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
you know me. It's like
No, well, okay, so let's just change gear, right? When it comes to you, like, what do you think clarity means to you in terms of business? Like, if you were to give someone an advice right now and they want to basically say, hey, I need help, what would be something that you kind of clarify, right? Because hounds of business community to me is hounds of belonging. If you don't feel you belong, get out. But before you get out, make sure that you give not us, yourself time to get to know who we are, right?
Right.
Because we already know who we are in hounds of business. We don't need, we still are actually not 100% because I think that you have to go through life to really get to know yourself. But I'm saying who we are at the core, we already know. So if you want to get out of hounds, it's okay. We're not going to tie you to it, but give yourself time to get to know us and what we do and collaborate with us first and see, or maybe come to our networking events to see who we are and what we do and give it a chance, give it one or two chances and then go from there. It's like dating, right? If you don't like something or someone, there's a lot of dating pools. So you go to the next one, you go to the next one. The same thing for the hounds, just like in any other community. You're not going to be friendly with one person and then you're like, I quit because I had this one thing with hounds and I really didn't like it, but that doesn't represent who we are, right? So give
No.
it a chance. So for you, what's your last advice for somebody who wants clarity and need your help?
Looking at clarity, it's understanding who you are and what your why is, and understanding it versus what everybody else tries to tell you. You can ask people, you can ask for ideas and ask for input, but it has to feel right. It has to be who you are. And then as you talk about, even with the hounds, just like anywhere else, you need to connect with more than just one or two people, because everybody is different and we don't always jive with everybody we cross paths with. But when you do find the people that you can connect with, you can work with, that also opens the door for being able to understand yourself, because now you can talk with somebody else. You're on the same level. You're talking similar things. Get your why out there. Understand that why so that you can say, this is who I am. This is what I was put here to do. To me, that's where the clarity is. And I still kind of work on that myself. Just trying to make sure that the message is coming across in a way that makes sense. Because we know what we are, who we are, what's been placed on our heart to do. We just have to we have to be able to articulate it clearly and find the right people to work with to level up, to move beyond that box, so that you can be in a house of belonging.
It's like Batman. When they throw the bat symbol up, who comes running, right? And that's what you throw the symbol out, folks. See who comes to say, oh, I know that symbol, right? I've been there. Yeah, don't do this alone, but be discerning, right? There's a lot of people that are not what they seem to be. But if you practice discernment and grow, you will attract and you will grow that. And don't feel bad. That's part of the journey. Because listen, nobody wants to read a book or watch a movie about someone who had everything handed to them and had no challenges. Everything you're going through right now is the exact reason that people will gravitate towards you, that they will support you, that you will be influential if you have the right heart. And that's sorry, I had to jump, but you're absolutely right. Just throw it out there. Because they're like, well, I made a mistake. Exactly. And so you're sitting here asking yourself, what's my messaging? What just happened yesterday? That's exactly what you should be examining. Message, you don't have to go out, well, what am I going to talk about on a podcast? all the crap that just happened to you and how you overcome it, right? And then what's going to happen? The other people going through it are going, oh, thank you. And other people, listen, and if they don't relate to it, they know people who would. That's why I tell people, I said, listen, this may not be for you, but if you run around and the next time you hear someone say, I stink at this, I stink at networking, stink at doing whatever on LinkedIn, fill in the blank, you say, I know a redneck. Go check him out before you quit. Right? That simple. Go out there and do it. I'm so sick of seeing good people not doing it for fear. We need to stand up because the other camps are doing it. So let's go do us.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Stay within your heart, right? I don't like to say, oh, stay in your lane. No, there's no lane. I just like freeway. I can cross 5 lanes if I want to. I'm not going to stay in my lane, but I am going to stay within myself of what I want to do, not what others want me to do. Because living for others, I think all of us have lived enough for others, for our family, for our friends, for all of these things, for the clout, for being viral. Who cares? Just live your day, be consistent. And if people don't like you, that's not your problem. That's their problem. Like, okay, I like me. That's all it counts. Because I don't live with you. I live with me, And so that is where it is, guys. And I really love inspiration and I love community. So before we end today, I'm going to show you that we do need help on our sister. So update, which I know I keep saying I'm going to update, but Elise actually needs to get better still, right? And my sister Danielle actually is trying to get her to Stanford, but her insurance denied it. So we still need your help financially and also spiritually. Please pray for discernment to all doctors, to her family, to her brothers. They're also young children. And sometimes young children can only do so much. Like, hey, you need to not hug your sister. You need to, clean your hands. And sometimes the kids might not do that. So please help, pray for the family of discernment, comfort, and love always. But we are pleading for your kindness and generosity. Please share it with anybody. We appreciate you. We love you. And thank you for getting into our community. And again, for 50 inspirational connections, it's still happening. Keep going. And I know I'm lacking on participation because life happens right now. So I appreciate your patience on this one as well. And The Grateful actually just came out. So it's on Amazon now. Anytime that you need inspiration for stories, please do. And then, of course, our new anthology coming up now until the end of August, it will be open. We're just kind of slow this year, and it's okay, right? And our academic publishing, I'm so excited. By Friday, I think I should hear about the editing portion of that. So that would be so cool. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you. I will see you tomorrow. I think I'll have Charles Caldwell tomorrow, and it's midnight in Hong Kong, and he's in Hong Kong. So see you tomorrow on Thursday. Bye, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
I started in the silence, behind closed doors. Dreams too loud to keep tucked in the floorboards. Late nights, broke days, no applause in sight. Just coffee, hustling that fire to fight. They said, play small, but I'm built to expand. No silver spoon, just grit in my hand. I will every note like armor and steel. Visibility's a battle, but I'm real and I heal. From invisible threads to the front of the stage, I'm rewriting the script, turning scars into page. Level up, rise above the fear. Let them hear your voice, make your purpose clear. Every step, every stumble, every tear in the rough. You were made for this moment, you are enough. Level up, break through the doubt. Turn the whispers of your past into a victory shout. You ain't just chasing clout, you're building a legacy. Now the world's gonna see what they couldn't believe. Yeah, yeah. What they couldn't believe. See the back end, just a headline glow. But success is built slow, where the struggle don't show. Algorithms change, but your mission's divine. You're the brand, you're the vision, you're the power behind. You gave free just to prove you have value inside. Now it's invoices paid and your name amplified. You're not just in business, you're changing the game. And your visibility, that's more than a name. No more shrinking, this is expansion. No more asking, this is commanding. You've been the spark, now you're the flame. Entrepreneur by fire, fueled by name. Level up, rise above the fear. Let them hear your voice, make your purpose clear. lost friends, the risks you took, to the brand you built and the space you shook. Here's your crown, your moment, your spotlight beam. You didn't just chase the dream, you became the dream. Level